Hi, I'm Nantara Rai reporting for ET Now. Today I'm going to be talking about a really big corporate battle with very big names involved. Mukesh Ambani, India's richest man on one side, and on the other side, it's the world's richest man, Jeff Bezos and Amazon. It's all to do with Future Group, started by India's original retail czar, Kishore Pyani. So what we saw over the weekend on Sunday night, news coming out, which by the way, ET Now had exclusively reported, that Amazon had managed to get interim relief in Singapore via an emergency arbitration proceeding that had ruled in favor of Amazon in an interim order, halting the 25,000 crore rupee sale of Future Group's businesses and assets to Reliance Retail. And since then, we've seen two very strongly worded statements coming in, both from Reliance as well as Future Retail. I'll begin with Reliance. Reliance Retail has said it intends to enforce its rights when it comes to the scheme of arrangement announced for the future transaction, that had conducted legal due diligence, and it will, without any delay, be proceeding with this transaction. In a nutshell, what Reliance is also saying is that the interim order of the sole arbitrator in Singapore is not enforceable in India. This is now being echoed by the Future Retail as well. Future Retail, in fact, goes on to say that the emergency arbitration invoked by Amazon has to do with future coupons. And it has nothing to do with Future Retail. Future Retail is not a party to this arbitration, and therefore, looking at the larger interests of the stakeholders, looking at the transaction for which due diligence has taken place, it will be proceeding without delay. So you have both the buyer and the seller in this case saying the same thing. The transaction is going to go through without any delay. They're both convinced. That's Future as well as Reliance publicly stating in black and white that the interim order in Singapore by the arbitration cannot hamper this deal. So now the ball is back in Amazon's court. Is it going to be approaching the Indian courts to make sure, or to try to make sure, that the interim relief it got in Singapore is indeed enforceable in India? That is something that we really need to watch out for. All of this goes down to Amazon about a year ago picking up a 49% stake in a company called Future Coupons. It's a promoter entity of the Future Group. Amazon says that when it bought this 49% stake for about 1,500 crore rupees, in its contract with the Future Group, there was a non-compete pact. The non-compete pact had a restricted list of companies that Future Group could not go to for deal making. And the name of Reliance was specifically mentioned as a competitor. The Reliance side of the story and the Future side of the story is, we're not entering a business with Future Coupons, who Amazon did this deal with. We're not acquiring a company. We are acquiring assets and businesses. We're not acquiring shares. We're acquiring assets and businesses. And the transaction is with Future Retail, not with Future Coupons. So, that's in sum and substance comes down to it. All I can say is that one of the biggest corporate battles we've seen in a long time. Like I said, look at the names that are involved and a lot that's at stake. Remember, Future Group has a debt of over 12,000 crore rupees. Who's going to service this? Who's going to repay the banks? And it's only going to spiral. There are a lot of stores which the landlords have been obviously uneasy about when it comes to getting their rent. You have the employee security as well. There have been massive salary cuts anyway at the Future Group. So that's something else to watch out for. The vendor relations. So let's see whether we reach any kind of a settlement sooner than later. For now, it's going down to the wire. It's looking like one big legal fight.